every implant practice doing more than 100K per month in cases is running the same 4-system infrastructure and they need their marketing. Most practice owners have no idea it exists, but once you see it, you can't unsee how primitive literally just runs on Facebook ads actually is. In the next 10 minutes, I'm gonna open it up system by system so you know exactly what you're looking at and exactly what to ask for. So quick map of where we're going. First, the reframe. Why this is infrastructure, not marketing. That single shift is the whole video. If you only take one thing away, take that. Then we'll walk through the 4 systems. System 1, the celebrity authority. The 72-hour pre-frame that sells the patient before they sit down. System 2, the credit-based qualification, which is the moat. That's the single hardest thing in this whole architecture for a competitor to copy. System 3, the AI receptionist and what I call the hidden revenue bots. And system 4, the performance dashboard your agency is never going to show you. And at the end, I'll show you as well the 14-day build calendar and why most agencies are still in onboarding when at day 15 patients are in the chair. So let's start with the reframe because it's the most important slide in the deck. You know, marketing is something you rent. Infrastructure is what you own. Almost every implant practice in the US thinks of patient acquisition as marketing, as campaigns, as ads they pay an agency to run. And the moment they stop paying, the moment the relationship ends, the moment they switch agencies, and everything stops. Everything resets, there's zero compounding. And to me, that's not patient acquisition, that's a subscription to other people's competence. And so infrastructure is different. Infrastructure is what stays in your name, right? Your pixel, your conditioning, your retargeting library, your patient journey logic, your dashboard, your CRM, your finance qualified contacts. And so when that infrastructure is built right, it compounds, right? The pixel gets sharper every week because it's learning from real buyers. The retargeting library gets richer every quarter because you're adding videos to it. The CRM gets more valuable every month because you're reactivating dormant patients into it. And so a campaign can be copied by a competitor in a week. An infrastructure cannot be copied in a year. And if you're sitting there as a multi-location operator thinking about how to scale from 1 to 3 to 5 locations, campaigns don't scale. Infrastructure does. The same architecture I'm going to walk you through is what gets you from one location running one ad account to 3 locations running coordinated paid acquisition without tripling your headcount. So with that frame locked in, let me show you what the architecture actually is. So 4 systems install end-to-end in 14 days. None of them are optional. And the reason none of them are optional is because they only work together. System 1, the celebrity authority, once again, the 72-hour pre-frame. That's 20 plus short authority videos and trust building videos that follow every booked patient for 3 days before their consult. System 2, the credit-based qualification. Again, that's the mode. It's a soft credit check that we perform on people before they hit the calendar and before they hit your pixel, which you might not know how important that is, but trust me, it is one of the most important things you can do for your implant campaigns. System 3, the AI receptionist and hidden revenue bots, 24/7 routing for new leads, and AI reactivation across every dormant lead already sitting in your CRM. And System 4, the performance dashboard, live data, your numbers, not your agency's monthly report. Each one is a feature. Together, they're a category, and let me show you why. Okay, so System 1, the celebrity authority, the 72-hour pre-frame. So here's the problem it solves. A patient books a consult on Tuesday. The consult is on Friday. In those 3 days between the booking and walking in, what is exactly your practice doing to build trust? For most practices, the answer is a confirmation email, maybe an SMS, maybe nothing. And then a stranger walks into a dental office and is expected to say yes to an $8,000, $10,000, $20,000 treatment plan. Of course they flinch, right? Of course they say, I need to think about it. You haven't given them 72 hours of reasons to trust you. You've given them 3 days of silence. And so what we install is a library of 20 short authority and trust building videos. They retarget every booked patient for the 72 hours before their consult. And they are not ads. They don't look like ads. It's helpful content, right? It's not a sales pitch. They're short, calm, expert content, like testimonials before and afters. The dentist on a Friday talking about implant longevity, the TCO walking through what happens on consult day, stuff like that, patient stories. And so the result is the patient walks in believing you're the obvious choice before you've even said a word, right? Show rates go up as well, close rate goes up, and price resistance comes down. Your competition gets 60 seconds of trust at the consult. We give them 72 hours of it before they walk through the door. That's the key. Okay, so that's system one. System two, the credit-based qualification. This is the one you really need to pay attention to. Before a lead ever sees your calendar, before they ever pick a time slot, they go through a soft credit check and debt to income screen. It's a soft pull, it doesn't really affect their credit score or anything like that. And it runs invisibly inside the lead form flow. They don't even know it's happening in the background. And what comes out the other side is not a lead, right? It's a finance qualified patient. Someone whose ability to actually pay for treatment has been verified. Again, before they ever touch your calendar and your Pixel. And so 3 things compound when you install this. Number 1, the Pixel benefit. Your Meta Pixel, your Google Pixel, they learn from whoever you tell them is a conversion, essentially. And so if you tell them every lead is a conversion, they go and find you more leads that look like leads. And if you tell them only finance qualified bookings are conversions, they go, you guessed it, and find you more people who are financially qualified. And that gap compounds week after week. After 6 months, your cost per booking drops in a way that no creative test can replicate. The Pixel doesn't care about your sales pitch, it cares about who you let it learn from, and we let it learn from buyers only, essentially. Number 2, the shared benefit, right? Your TCO walks into the console with a pre-approval visible on the screen. They already know what this patient is approved for, and so they are not guessing, okay? They're not making the patient feel awkward about money. They're running a different conversation entirely. Essentially a clinical recommendation conversation, not a sales pitch. And number 3, the cash benefit. So you stop paying for chair time on people who come by. Every consult slot you give to financially unqualified leads is a slot a real patient could have taken. And so that opportunity cost of every tire kicker consult is gone. And this is why I keep saying we don't send you leads, we send you finance qualified implant patients. It's a different product altogether, different category. Most agencies do not have this. Most agencies can't have this because installing credit qualification properly requires the rest of the architecture to be there too, which is why this is the ball. It's not a feature you can really bolt on, it's the spine. And so I want you to read this with me, okay? We don't send you leads, we send you finance qualified implant patients. That sentence is not marketing language. It is the operational definition of what gets handed to your TCO at the start of every consult. So hold that in your head as we move through the remaining systems, because those 2 systems exist to fit that definition. Okay, moving on here, system 3 has 2 parts. Part 1, the AI receptionist, 24/7 routing. A patient who messages you at 9 p.m. on a Saturday will get an instant, intelligent, on-brand response. They get qualified, they get booked, while your front desk is away. Now, why does this matter? Because high-ticket decisions get made on evenings and weekends, honestly. People research implants when their kids are in bed, right? They're not researching at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. That's when they're at work. And so if your weekend response time is Monday morning, you're losing them to the practice that responded them at 10 p.m. on a Saturday. Part 2, the hidden revenue pool. Okay, this is an AI database reactivation. And almost every implant practice I audit is sitting on a 6-figure pipeline they don't even know they have. It could be old leads who never booked, no shows from 8 months ago, lapsed patients, people who said not right now and will never follow up properly. And so we layer AI on top of that database and reactivate it. Conservative numbers, out of like a 5,000 contact list, typically generates anywhere from like 15K to 75K of pipeline in the first 30 days. That's not new lead generation, that's revenue that was already in your CRM. You just call it a CRM, we call it a vault. System 4 here, the performance dashboard. Every other system fits this, right? Spend, qualified bookings, show rate, consult to close, revenue, ROAS, by source, by week, by case value, everything live, not retrospective. And so that way you can stop reading your agency's monthly PDF and you read your own data daily if you want. And the reason this matters for a practice owner, especially a multi-location operator, is you make decisions on numbers instead of vibes. When your COO at location 2 says, Friday afternoons are weak, you don't guess. You open the dashboard and you see it. And so you either reallocate budget in that case, or you fix the operational issue. Either way, you're making the decision based on data. And then lastly here, the build calendar. Week 1, we install the pixel architecture, the credit qualification, the calendar gating, and the content shoot. That's the foundation of the mode. Week 2, we install the celebrity authority retargeting, the AI receptionist, and the dashboard. And day 15, you're live, and the compounding starts. Now, most agencies are still in onboarding when our day 15 patients are in the chair, as I said before. The standard install timeline in this industry is 6 to 8 weeks, and what most of them are installing isn't even the full architecture. It's like separate fragments. And every day faster on install is a day earlier the pixel starts compounding. So I want you to think of the 14-day build not as a feature, think of it as the mode as well, because it is. Now I want to close on why this is the category, not just our service. A campaign, as I said, can be copied by a competitor in a week. They'll see your ads, they'll swipe your hook, and they'll launch their version. A landing page also can be copied. They'll screenshot it, they'll take a screenshot of it, hand it to the designer, and ship a clone. An ad angle can also be reverse engineered, and none of that is really defensible. A pixel conditioning, though, on 12 months of finance qualified buyers cannot be copied. They'd have to spend a year learning from the wrong data first. A 20 video authority library shot at your practice with your dentist, your TCO, your patients, that cannot also be copied. A CRM with thousands of reactivated patients already moving toward consult cannot be copied either. That's your relationship history and not an asset they can buy. And then lastly, a dashboard your team trusts more than gut feel. And lastly, a dashboard your team trusts more than gut feel cannot be copied either. That's a cultural change inside your practice. And that is the difference between renting marketing and owning infrastructure. And that is why I keep saying this isn't a marketing service, it's a category. So 2 paths from here, depending on where you're at. If you want to see this architecture running in a real practice, an actual ad account, actual dashboard, actual numbers from a 70-to-1 return campaign, that's going to be in the next video. I'll walk you through every step a patient takes from the first impression to the console with the math on the screen the whole way. I'll drop that shortly. And if you've seen enough though, and you want to talk about installing this in your practice, the application link is also below. Heads up, we only onboard 5 practices per quarter, and that's not a tactic, it's a build constraint. Because if we install more than 5 per quarter, we can't really hit the 14-day timeline. So if you fill the application and we say no this month or this quarter, that's why. The call itself, just so you know, it's not a pitch, it's a fit assessment. We audit your current acquisition. We find the leakiest stage. We project what your numbers would look like with the protocol in place. And then we tell you yes or no, whether your practice qualifies. Either way, I'll see you on the other side. I hope you enjoyed the video.